Hey, Mike here with Canadian Musician. Once again, Canadian Music Week. Next to me is the beautiful Eva Avila. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you.
So you have two LPs out in the past. I believe it's 2006, 2008, and now you have, I guess the most recent single is Bitter Meets Sweet, which I believe came out, I think it was October 2013,
That's
if I
right,
remember
just last
correctly.
fall. Mm-hmm.
And with that, is that a sign that we have, that there's new music you're working on or that's coming up? I guess what's in the works?
Yeah, absolutely. My last album was 5 years ago, so obviously time flies. It's pretty crazy. The new single, Bitter Meets Sweet, was released this past fall, which I wrote with a really great team of writers, Rob Wells, Liz Rodrigues, and Christopher Ward. Rob Wells actually produced my very first record, so it was nice to work with him again. In this day and age, 2013, it's a singles market. Less and less, fewer people are buying actual albums, so it's not as crucial and essential to actually record a full-length album. If you have the means and the time and the budget, energy, material, and opportunity, obviously, by all means, go ahead. But for me, I'm just working one single at a time. And that's the beauty of consuming music these days. People can actually purchase one song if they like for 99 cents and not having to buy the whole album. So I'm actually right now working on the new single, the summer single, which is scheduled to be released early June, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with Bitter Meets Sweet. I actually recorded a full-on French version as well for Quebec, because I'm from Quebec. I speak French. It's my mother tongue. So this time around, it was really important to me to stay true to my roots and actually give my public fans, my Quebecois public or fans, some original material in French. And I did record a little bundle of songs with that team of writers, and we're going to be releasing it as an EP. 6-song EP, most likely in the fall. So it's exciting.
A bunch there I want to touch on. And first of all, you said, and this gets to something I wanted to ask about, is your work with Rob Wells, Liz Rodrigues, some big name songwriters and folks in the industry. For you as an artist, I guess, what is it that they've taught you? What have you gotten out of it as an artist, as a writer? Are there some key lessons that they were able to pass on to you?
Well, they're amazingly experienced, and they've done so much. Rob Wells has worked, with Bieber, with Selena Gomez, with the Backstreet Boys, with Matt Dusk. He flies out to Barbados for writing camps for Rihanna. Like, he works with the big names. Yeah. So, and Liz Rodrigues, I adore her because I have a little bit of like a sisterly relationship with her. She's kind of like an older sister. She's incredibly versatile. She's written for Dan Hill, Céline Dion, and she, went on tour with Eminem. Like she's a chameleon. She's a songwriter chameleon is what I call her. And she's the sweetest woman ever. So we have a really good connection there. And it was nice to have a woman in the room when I was writing, just to have, writing from a woman's perspective. And then Christopher Ward, who used to be a VJ at Much, I call him the word wizard because he is a wizard of words. He has the most beautiful way of writing. He's actually also a novelist, so he's incredible at taking my thoughts and my emotions and the stories I want to tell and just help me, round it out and capture the message and the essence of what I'm trying to say in my songs. So, that whole team, the 4 pieces of the puzzle were we all came together really nicely, and it was a really great team effort. Then for the French side, I work with people from Quebec, so I'm really lucky that I'm able to work on sort of both sides of the world, because Quebec is its own little market. It's a completely different planet, pretty much. So I feel really lucky.
And I want to get back to the dual French-English thing in a second, but you brought up an interesting point there when you're talking about Liz Rodrigues, about how it's good to have a woman in the room in that perspective. A lot of the big-name songwriters and who write songs for women are men, which, a talented songwriter is a talented songwriter.
Yeah.
But is there something there when you're working with a talented woman like Liz Rodrigues? Does it bring another element to the song that you just don't see when you're working with even the big-name male songwriters?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say so, yes, because and also, I've known her for a few years, so we've gotten to know each other on a personal level. It's not just a working relationship, like we're very close, and I confided in her a bunch of times, and she shared her experiences with me as well. And she's Portuguese, so we have a little bit of a, and she's dating a Latino. She's engaged to a Latino, actually, and I'm Latina as well. My dad's Peruvian, so we kind of have like that special bond. So whenever I would bring an idea to the table, a lyric idea or start of a chorus or just a concept for a song. She really helps me put it into words. And same thing with Chris, but from working with Liz, it's like I said, it's a woman's perspective. It's a different way, it's a different angle, a different way of telling the story. And she's really good with metaphors, extremely good with metaphors. So it was just wonderful to be able to work with her. And I've worked with amazing songwriters for the past few years, and I love meeting new writers as well. I love expanding my horizons and flexing my writing creative muscles. So, and you never stop learning, right? Yeah. I love the teamwork of it.
Fair point. And with Bitter Meets Sweet, you recorded a French version. You said you're recording a French version of your upcoming single. And this kind of reminded me, not too long ago, I was talking to Rock Voisine, who obviously is, when it comes to French music, not just Canadian, but in general, is one of the biggest stars there. And one of the fascinating things he was talking about is he said throughout his entire career, he felt he was always navigating actually 3 separate careers, because for him he had the European element. He said his European career was very different from his English Canadian or English North American career, which was very different from his Quebec or French North American career.
Right.
And to him there were 3 very distinct paths. Have you felt the same thing? Do you see them as two separate careers almost?
That's not wrong. You're not wrong. It does make a lot of sense because, once again, Quebec has its own little bubble, its own market, its own industry, its own star system. It's smaller, so it's a little bit more tight-knit, if that's a good term. And when I go to Quebec, when I do my promo in Quebec, it's like I'm Eva Avila, la Québécoise, And when I'm here, I'm mostly remembered because of Idol, but then that's obviously that's fine. But I feel like I'm a little bit split in two, which is a good thing because then it just more opportunities for me, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But yeah, it's funny because when I released my first record, I think I charted at number 2 for a few weeks, and number 1 was Grégory Charles. And I don't know if you know Grégory Charles. No, there you go. It's like you say Grégory Charles in Quebec. It's just like saying Céline Dion. Like who the heck doesn't know Céline Dion? Who the heck doesn't know Grégory Charles? And Rock Voisine, it's funny you mentioned Rock Voisine because I kind of think of him as like the male version of Céline. He's got, he's fully bilingual. He's huge in Europe as well. He's international. So it's a blessing to be able to do both and to be able to work in both markets. And the fact that I did Canadian Idol and started off my career more in English Canada, then worked my way back to my roots, it's just I'm really, really happy that I'm able to do that. But you're right, it is completely like 2 different careers. It's mostly a blessing, but it could complicate things a little bit. But I would not change it for the world because I get to do what I love.
And like we mentioned, you have the 2 full lengths out, but lately, and you said you're concentrating, it's a singles industry, as you said, and that's the way you're approaching it now. How do you find the dynamic between the 2 when you're writing, knowing you're writing an album versus concentrating on a single song that will be a single? Is it a different mental approach? Everybody has their own way.
In my case, I was working with, I got some help from Factor Canada. I worked with Slate Music. Again, for that, I'm incredibly thankful. I had to make sure these guys were available. Rob Wells, Christopher Ward, Liz Rodrigues, they're busy folks. So I had to make sure, we had to plan out a schedule. So it's like, in a way, it's amazing because that you're going to be writing amazing material and creating wonderful songs because you've got a great team, but at the same time there's that pressure, like you obviously you want to sort of let your inspiration come to you, but at the same time you have to follow a schedule and make sure everyone's available and blah blah blah, and these guys have families, and so there is a little bit of pressure. If I go back to the first and second album, it's like writing some songs, selecting the songs, having the creative meetings with the A&R from the label, which songs are strongest. Sometimes there's disagreements. No, I want to go with this song. No, I disagree. This one's going to be a bigger single. Anyways, so, but I think it's a good thing that it's a singles market these days because, people, like I said before, people consume one song at a time. I still remember when I used to have to buy the whole CD. Or tapes before, and then I would be disappointed because I only like that one song that I would hear on the radio. So I think it's a luxury that people are able to to consume one song at a time. But yeah, if you know that, I have to write a full album, I have to come up with 10, 12 hits, then yeah, but you can choose not to put that pressure on yourself, which is why I decided to take one song at a time and obviously try to build momentum. And then, touring comes after that, and I'm touring also with a cover band in Quebec. Like, I'm getting into acting, just try to branch out and be as versatile as I can and do everything that I love, because life is short, right? So
very cool, and very fascinating as well. And so, speaking of singles, you said the new single's coming out in June.
Yes.
Eva Avila, thank you for joining me. And I guess I should ask, is there a title for the single yet in June that we can look out for?
It is called, it was supposed to be Another Song. And I went with my gut and I said, I'm feeling this one. So I'm working on it this upcoming week, actually. It's called Not the End of the World. It's a song that I wrote a couple years ago that I always kind of kept in my back pocket, thinking this song has potential, right? So yeah, I'm excited.
Not the End of the World, Eva Avila. Watch out for it. Thank you.
Thank you.